Joining us now is Senator Chris Coons, Democrat of Delaware. He's a member of the Judiciary Committee. Senator, thank you very much for being here. I know this is an incredibly busy and intense time.
And thank you, Rachel. It's good to be on with you again. I'm struck as we're preparing for tomorrow's hearing that there are even more accusations against Judge Kavanaugh that have come out today. So we've got Dr. Ford, who will be testifying tomorrow, but we've got Deborah Ramirez and Julie Swetnick, who have also offered to be interviewed by the committee or the FBI or both. And I think it is more urgent than ever, given this latest accusation, that there be a full FBI investigation before we come to any sort of a final vote on Judge Kavanaugh.
As new allegations have come forward, and again, NBC News tonight is reporting on a letter that was received through Senator Cory Gardner's office, which makes another, at this point, totally anonymous allegation against Judge Kavanaugh that dates to 1998. As these allegations have come forward, and they all are different allegations, they're all of different character, they all have different levels of corroboration, if any. Has there been any sign that the White House or the Republican leadership on the committee is budging at all on this issue of whether the FBI should look into these allegations?
No, Rachel, to the best of my knowledge, Senator Grassley, who's the chairman of the committee, is driving forward. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has said that he intends to have Judge Kavanaugh seated on the court by next week. And I frankly have not heard any indication that they are softening on their position, that we will have all the evidence we need to make a final vote here on Judge Kavanaugh. I strongly disagree. These are compelling and very disturbing allegations by each of the additional women who have come forward. And I would think, in the interest of the integrity of the Supreme Court, frankly, even in Judge Kavanaugh's interest, to have a chance for him to present any more evidence that he might have to clear his name. They should want the FBI to investigate. I certainly feel strongly that without the FBI looking at the corroborating evidence that Dr. Ford has come forward with, folks, that she disclosed this history, this alleged violent, terrifying sexual incident she had with Judge Kavanaugh as a teenager. Without those being examined, corroborated, and put in front of the committee, we're really not doing our job, and this is really not a full and fair process.
In terms of how the process is going to go tomorrow, you raised sort of an alert about the fact that this is essentially going to be sort of a lightning process tomorrow, that senators will be given 5 minutes to ask questions, right, and that's it. No follow-up, no second round. How do you expect this to unfold tomorrow, particularly given this unusual situation where your Republican colleagues appear to be outsourcing their own questions to an external prosecutor who's been brought in from Arizona to ask questions instead of the senators themselves?
Well, Rachel, if the majority, if the Republicans on the committee think that by hiring an outside prosecutor, they can hide behind that and not be held accountable if her tone is prosecutorial, if she tries to put Dr. Ford on trial, I think they're sadly mistaken. I'll remind you that it was 27 years ago, just 100 feet from me right now, that Professor Anita Hill came forward to the Senate Judiciary Committee. And in the response nationally, many women who ran for office were elected, including Senator Feinstein, who's now the ranking Democrat on the Judiciary Committee, and Patty Murray, one of our leaders in our caucus. 1992 was a significant year for women electorally in this country. And I think this attempt to rush through a single round of questioning, just 5 minutes each, for Judge Kavanaugh and for Dr. Ford is a significant mistake and will be taken by the people of the United States as an attempt to rush to judgment on Judge Kavanaugh.
Senator, obviously the political fallout from what happened 27 years ago at the Anita Hill and Clarence Thomas hearings is never far from anybody's mind in terms of covering Washington dynamics. The political dynamics here are real. Obviously, the seriousness of these allegations is also very resonant, I think, both for male senators and female senators who are looking at these matters fairly. As this process gets underway, as we get closer to this hearing tomorrow with the kind of speed that we're expecting all of these allegations to be handled tomorrow and not hearing from all these other witnesses, I wonder if within the Senate, you are hearing about or having conversations either among just your Democratic colleagues or potentially across the aisle where people have misgivings about this process or are thinking about some off-ramp to not end this confirmation hearing the way this looks like this is going to end tomorrow. Is there anything going on in terms of senators talking to one another that makes it seem like people might be looking for a third way?
Rachel, I've had several conversations with colleagues, both Republican and Democrat, today and in recent days, who are deeply uncomfortable, unhappy with this process on the committee, and are trying to find a way to get some brief but appropriate and professional process in place. 27 years ago, then President George Bush, Republican president, directed the FBI to investigate her allegations. And in just 4 days, they came back to the committee, and the committee had 20 witnesses. That included witnesses who were experts in the dynamics of sexual assault, as well as folks who were there both to support Judge Thomas's story and to corroborate some of Professor Hill's allegations. The idea that in several weeks we haven't been able to get that done here, I think is very frustrating to both Democrats and Republicans. Look, Republicans face a real risk here. If they vote to confirm Judge Kavanaugh, if they push him through on Friday and then seat him on Monday or Tuesday of next week, and any of these 4 allegations that are now out there publicly turn out to be true, they will bear the cost of having sent someone to the Supreme Court who is a known sexual violator of young women or who has been sexually aggressive when drunk at different points in his life. Nobody wants to take that risk. And by the same token, I think I've heard concern from Republicans that they think we're simply trying to drag this out past the midterm elections. I don't think that's true. I do think it is possible for us to have the FBI do a prompt and appropriate professional questioning of some of the core people here. I'll just raise one, Mark Judge. Why are we not hearing from Mark Judge tomorrow? Dr. Ford puts him in the room during her sexual assault when she was 15. If she was making this up, why would she say that it was Brett Kavanaugh's best friend who was in the middle of this with her? And why has he not been questioned by the FBI, and why is he not testifying to us tomorrow? Why is Deborah Ramirez, who has offered to testify tomorrow, not in front of us? This has got to be on the minds of those who are still undecided and weighing this important moment tomorrow carefully.
Senator Chris Coons, Democratic member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, who we will see at tomorrow's hearing. Thank you for talking to us tonight, sir. Good luck tomorrow.
Rachel.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, more to get to. Busy night. Stay with us.